Guru Nation, welcome back. Thank you so much for coming back after the weekend. It's been a crazy weekend. I got sick with a super flu, super cold. It's not COVID, guys, relax, but I got the super flu. It might be worse. I was like just no energy all weekend. You could probably hear in my nose, in my face, a little bit congestion, but there's no way I'm not going to do this interview. This is Stefan Jovanovic, all the way from Serbia, Novi Sad. This is like my brethren, fellow Eastern European brethren. I have a very strong connection to Serbia. Obviously, I have a very strong connection to Romania. I'm born there, but Serbia, I live there. My dad was born there. I have family there. Probably went there more than Romania, honestly, in my life. And it's always nice to meet because of Guru Nation. Stefan commented on a contest I have to give away my book and Gary Vee's book. I said, the comment, Happy Thanksgiving, the comment with the most likes wins these books. Stefan from Serbia, they don't even do Thanksgiving. They don't even know what that is. And he won, guys. We're global. We don't care where you're from. All right. So, Stefan, welcome so much. Thank you so much for coming on the show. How's everything?
Yeah, hi Dan, hi Guru Nation. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, pretty good over here. Thank you, and thank you for the book. Thank you to Guru Nation for the support to my comment. I might actually have to move to USA to actually celebrate Thanksgiving because things in life have meaning sometimes. So yeah, you never know. But all good here. Thank you. How are you aside from your super flu?
Aside from that, I'm great, man. Like, the motivation, the ambition is still here. It's just the mucus is covering it, but I'm okay. I break free from this with enough coffee. We're good to go. Stefan, you sent me a direct message on Instagram. Said, by the way, give you a little background on me. And by the way, Guru Nation, everybody, underneath the show notes is Stefan's LinkedIn profile. You must, okay, that would be nice. You must go connect with him. He got himself a job with Cineos, and I've never interviewed anyone in this role. Inside sales with Cineos, with a global CRO, one of the biggest CROs out there. Inside sales. First of all, Stefan, congratulations. How did you get this job? Number one, and number two, what's your background to even have the audacity to look for this job?
First of all, thank you for the beautiful intro. I really appreciate it, and I guess it might make more sense to start from my background and then towards the seniors. So, 1 year ago, I graduated with a degree Master of Pharmacy here in Serbia. During my university years, I got interested into clinical trials. Actually, I had subject Introduction to Clinical Trials, where my professor was business development head at the mid-sized CRO, and that's when I got interested in this whole world. Even before that, I knew that I want to do sales, some sort of sales. I liked to take chances and present when I could during my university years. Different workshops and stuff, attending congresses. I actually saw one of your interviews with the current head of Zymewire. I don't remember the mister's name,
Pete
but
Bastedo, Pete, and then his coworker, his colleague. I can't remember his name, but he's a sales guy from Zymewire. Yep.
I remember a person who is also a pharmacist and started working as a med rep and then went to PPD, I believe, and later on to Zymewire. And my path was about to be similar. For most positions where I applied, it was for med rep positions. But then through a friend who works as a med rep, I met a colleague from Synos who is in inside sales as well. And then she informed me that they have an open position. I applied there as well, went through a very nice interview process, and entered this world, honestly speaking, earlier than I expected I would. So yeah, that's a short story of how I got here.
And that's a big time position. One of the reasons it's serendipity that you won the contest, because I've never actually had anybody in that role. And I think there's so many opportunities on the sales side and the business development side of CRO. I know so many people. I mean, it's not all about the money, but I know so many people within those positions. I meet them at conferences and things like that, and they do very well for themselves, never being CRAs, never doing the clinical stuff, but doing the sales and the biz dev. And I think, one of my things that I always say is no matter what your job in research, sales is important. And you can extend that to any job and you can think of, or even just being a parent, being a spouse. I mean, everything is sales. Sales is about influencing, persuading. It's about a lot of stuff. I mean, so that's a really exciting Stefan, the career for you. And as a sales, so did you become prior to Senios a sales rep? Where is that? Did I understand correctly?
No, I was well, after my graduation, I went through a 5 months pharmacy internship. I worked at a public pharmacy,
Gotcha.
and then I was applying for most of positions where I applied were for salesperson for medrep. But the one where I got accepted was this role. So this is actually
Gotcha.
my first role post university, if we exclude this internship. So I started back in May. It's been like 7 8 months now, so like
Gotcha.
7 months.
Congratulations. I think that
So,
was smart for you to go into the least traveled path. Everybody goes sales rep. Generally, when you go where more people go, it's less positive outcomes generally, right? If you go the untraveled path, it's a little bit easier to differentiate yourself. So, how is your job? Like, what do you do? Take me through a typical day. Do you work from home? It looks like you're in the office. I don't know where, like, how is your day-to-day activity?
yeah, so I'm not at the office, although Seniors has orange color, so it might have the wrong way. I work home based. We have office in Belgrade, but I decided to work home based because it is like 80 kilometers travel, and for the time this is more convenient for me. So the main role of inside sales is to get in touch with new customers, to try to generate leads, to facilitate those initial meetings, and then there are many things. There is of course lots of prospecting, including Zymewired, which we mentioned earlier, communicating with other parts of the team, working closely with the BDs who after what we do after this initial introduction, BDs take that next step in negotiation with the customer. So the position is really exciting. It requires you to take different approaches from case to case and from day to day. And also, I got really interested in the industry. I'm excited about, although I don't work operationally as a monitor, I'm also excited about learning more because the more you know, the better you are in what you do. And I believe that this industry has a lot to offer to everyone in it, independent of geography. So yeah.
This industry is very kind to generalists. If you start in one role, everybody starts as specialists. If you start in one space and then slowly start expanding your knowledge, to the point where you know uh, a moderate amount about a lot, you're a generalist. At that point, you can name your job. You can do fancier things like consulting, where they basically gonna hire you because rather than hiring three separate people, they hire Stefan because he's got the knowledge of like three separate people, and you get paid more, but you still get paid less than three separate people to them. But you're only one person. This how it works, guys. A value, one plus one more than three. One plus one more than two. Sometimes can be three. So Zymewire is important biz dev tool. I'm assuming you guys use that.
Yeah. Zymewired is our main prospecting tool, as I
Main.
believe is
Okay.
similar in, well, one of the main, can't really say, but I believe it is similar in many CROs.
How walk me through like a typical day. What do you do? Are you focused just on Serbia, like pharmaceuticals and sponsors? or all of Eastern Europe? Do you have to travel? What what do you do? How do you prospect?
Yeah, well, we use various tools for prospecting. We analyze LinkedIn, website, Zinewire. Um, there are, I would say, different ways to find certain information. As of my territory that I'm assigned to, I'm not only Serbia or Eastern Europe. I actually don't do any of Eastern Europe. I have Benelux, Italy, Israel, and Ireland at the moment. These are my territories. I mainly communicate with customers via email or sometimes via phone. Up to now, I haven't traveled for work purposes, although we are all hoping for more face-to-face events in the coming year. So I'm hoping that that's something that will change in 2022, as this year, because of the situation as it is, there weren't many opportunities to do something like that. So prospecting, emails, our internal meetings. Um, then when you are able to facilitate a meeting, then you coordinate people on the inside, prepare for the meeting. If there are some documents that the customer will send prior to the call, if presentation needs to be prepared, if it needs to be presented. Overall, it's an interesting role with a lot of different responsibilities, which will sometimes change. Sometimes there is an event that occupies our attention. Most of them were virtual this year, so you log in on different platforms, try to communicate with customers via these platforms. So yeah, I hope I managed to answer most
Are
of your
you
questions.
are you going to come to Bio or DIA in the United States next year?
Well, I'm not sure about the United States. I believe we will be focused on European events, at
Okay.
least for the time being. But sometimes down the line, I haven't been to USA yet, but I hope that will also change sooner rather than later.
When you come out to San Diego, usually Bio or DIA, one of those two, they always alternate. I usually try to go to that conference because it's so close to where I'm at uh, in San Diego. So inside sales, from what I understand, it's customers you've already worked with in the past. Is that what
Well,
that is?
most of the sometimes it will be the case, but most of the time our role is to uncover new opportunities and to open up new customers. That
Ah,
is
so you're reaching out.
at least at Sinus. Yeah, I do outreach. That's my number one assignment.
You know better than I do. Um, I've been saying, I'm fascinated with these small cap biotech. I have another channel, the Clinical Research Circle, where we look at small biotech. I'm interested in these from the stock market perspective, but also just from the science. I think a lot more excitement, innovation happens at the smaller end of the tail, the long tail. Can you Are you seeing the same thing? Are you primarily seeing like small, medium-sized companies that you're dealing with?
Well, that is my role to deal with these small to mid-sized customers. I'm not communicating with the bigger ones, and yeah, there is lots of innovation. And as you said, smaller biotechs are more open to trying something different. The bigger
They
ones
are.
would prefer to see if it works and then eventually acquire, which I understand from economic point of view. So yeah, I agree with you. There is lots of exciting stuff. I believe lots of companies, lots of great teams that are doing very hard work to change the tomorrow for the better.
Yeah, some of my right now the stock market's getting destroyed. Some of my stocks are getting killed. But those are medium and long term holds. Um, I talk when I interview because I interview the CEOs of these companies sometimes. So small, like we're talking less than $1 billion market cap. They consider that small, believe it or not, guys. Uh, I interview these CEOs, and a lot of the complaints they tell me off the air, sometimes on the air, I ask them, but many times it's off the air. They complain that the CROs they work with ignore them because they're small. So I think I don't know if you see the same thing as opportunity for you and Cineos to get involved because you guys, while you're a big CRO, you're not the biggest. Do you see that as opportunity, or am I right in what these guys are telling me?
Yeah, I mean, you are right. Most of our customers are small biotech, and indeed they can often be intimidated by our by not only for our biotech, but also for our CROs, but also from of our size, because we are large for them. We have 28,000 employees. They might have 28 employees, or 12 or so. But it's always the point is always to try to show that their needs are always on top of your mind, and that you are doing the best to treat them in the same way in which you would treat the biggest company there is.
Yeah, lately Syneos has been having a really good reputation. And I'm looking at the stock now, $10.2 billion market cap. But this is medium. It's towards the big, medium to big, but it's definitely not the biggest. We won't mention who it is, but everybody. Well, I can mention it's IKEA is the biggest one out there, and a lot of these CEOs and executives I talk to say, I wish that we would get more personalized attention from the CROs. And I don't know, the smart CROs are probably see this as opportunity, right? Where the big ones are ignoring, maybe some of the smaller ones come in there and say, hey, we can, even though we're kind of big ourselves, we can make it like small teams catered for these smaller biotechs. I don't know if you're involved in that process, or what have you seen on your end?
Well, yeah, we, as you said, you always, and as I said also, you always try to show them that their needs are in your place, and that it's not only, okay, here is your proposal and that's it. Proposal will be tailored to your needs. So we'll try to meet your demands in the best way we can, and we will do the best on our side to execute in absolutely the same way we would do with any other customer, regardless of their size.
What
So that's the message we try to send. Although honestly speaking, I'm mostly involved in these initial meetings, and what happens later during the later stages of proposal and stuff, I haven't had this experience yet.
Yeah, you're out of the loop, but you're involved in the most important, well, for us, for Guru Nation, probably one of the most important aspects is that initial conversation, because I'm guessing, correct me if I'm wrong, you go after any therapeutic indication, right? Or are you
Yeah.
focused on just certain therapeutic condition?
No, I go after various indications. I'm not focused on just
That's
some.
perfect. What have you seen the most of um lately? Like what top 3?
Well, probably oncology, neurology, and COVID.
COVID. Oncology always number 1, guys. No matter what. Neurology, that goes through up and down. Central nervous system. Right now it's high because you got Alzheimer's. A lot of people looking at the Alzheimer's stuff. And then COVID slash vaccine slash treatments.
Yeah.
A lot of that chatter, obviously, in our space around mRNA paradigm, right? The advantages is obviously it's quicker than attenuated vaccine, right? Where you're basically making the virus impotent. The traditional way of making vaccine, it's taking longer. It's typically safer and more effective, but it takes longer. So that's why we have the mRNA, which are this is where it gets controversial. I interviewed a former FDA auditor. He says it's mRNA doesn't work. I interview other people. They say mRNA is the best thing ever. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not expecting you to know. But are you seeing alternatives in COVID, or are you seeing just more mRNA? If you can talk
Well,
about this.
I am seeing more treatments lately. Mm, to a certain amount, maybe more treatments than the vaccines themselves. And I think it's a good direction to go, because vaccines are completely fine, but we do need the treatments for those people who get sick, because the main problem here is burden on the healthcare system. And if you have someone catching a cold, he is not a threat to a healthcare system and to society or anything. But if people get severely cold or die, that is a big issue.
Yeah, yeah, that's I'm glad to hear that because yeah, there's plenty of work on the vaccine and yesterday I was on a Clubhouse room. I know I say Clubhouse is dead. It is, guys, but Sundays there's a biotech room and I'm not a host. I just go to listen. And there was a guy actually from Europe. You might benefit from this actually, Stefan. I'm going to send you this link because you
Okay.
you should be on there. Every Sunday around noon Pacific time, so I'm guessing that's like 8 p.m. Sunday
Yeah.
nights, Belgrade. Uh, it's biotech executives, venture capitalists. This is right up your alley, man. Actually, I'm gonna LinkedIn message you this. You're gonna be the best inside salesperson in the entire industry.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, you
Thank you.
get the secret weapons, you get Guru Nation on your side. But they were talking about the attenuated vaccine, right? This executive from a company in Europe came on. I can't remember the name of the company. All they do is vaccines, and they don't do mRNA vaccine. It's just traditional vaccine. And he was saying basically it takes a lot longer to get your labs in order, but at the long on in the long run, these are typically safer and more effective. The mRNA, you get them out quick if it's an emergency, but typically they're not as safe, not as effective, and we're seeing this right now, right? We're seeing a lot of pushback. We're also seeing a huge, probably 30% or more of the global population, at least in the US, 30% or more, very vaccine hesitant. They don't want the mRNA. There's a market for traditional vaccine. It just takes longer. So if we can get those up and running, this industry is busy right now. I know you're new. You don't have any context. You haven't seen it in the past. I have. I've seen very little activity and I've never seen it the way it is now, Stefan. It's I'm just extremely bullish about the next decade of the in this industry and what it can offer and what it can offer people like you who master sales, master biz dev, and grow as generalists. How are you? Let's maybe focus on your career. How is your experiences so far with Cineos? And is there anybody there like mentoring you or um, like line manager? CRAs always talk about line manager and how they help nurture them rather than losing the employee to a competitor. They want to nurture you to grow within Cineos. What have you seen anything like this?
Yeah, first of all, I saw your video where you're speaking that you expect a lot in the next 10 years and that you are very bullish. Yeah, CRO industry now looks like maybe crypto market 2 years ago when
Wow.
everyone started to get very bullish. So yeah, that's a comparison that came to my mind. And yeah, I do have a line manager. We are a team of 4 people at the moment with our line manager.
Really?
Yeah,
That's a small
Sonia.
team.
Yeah, well, that's inside sales in Europe. We have more people in USA and Asia Pacific. Um,
Wow.
and
Awesome.
Sonia is my line manager. There is a fun fact that I went to a student exchange in Poland, in her hometown, when I was in the university. So you can make these things up. Sometimes things just happen like that. But yeah, Sonia is super supportive and really. Hi Sonia, shout out to you. I believe you will be watching this
Does she
at some
watch?
point.
Is she Guru Nation and maybe a new
Um,
Guru Nation?
she will be a new Guru Nation member.
Yes, that's how we get it one by one, guys.
Yeah. So I really appreciate the amount of support I feel what you're speaking, the nurturing, the support, showing you opportunities to grow, just wanting you to be the best you can and to develop in the best possible way and to give you opportunities for you to choose the path you would like down the road.
I think it's so smart that these Sierra, and I'm glad to hear Cineos is doing this. Um, to be honest with you, Cineos does. I don't hear many negative things. I'm not just saying this because you're on. I don't hear many negative things from their CRAs or other employees. I do hear from some of the other CROs some pretty negative things, but I think all of them from a work-life balance. But I think all of the CROs are starting to get smart because in the last decade, so previous to 2020, so 2010 to 2020, the way you advance, unfortunately, in the industry was you take any job you can get. Within a year, a competitor will get you, so you get a little bit of an increase. Within a year, another competitor gets you. And the CROs realize this is stupid. They're losing, the best people just for 5%, 10% increase in salary when they'll gladly pay that to keep you. So now I like what I'm hearing from you with the small team. I mean, it's almost like creating small business within the bigger business. I think this is the only way to do it in the next decade, especially when you have an industry that's so understaffed. You can't, it's people like Stefan don't fall from the tree, like this is, and you're just getting started, but what you're learning right now from May until now, you've already exponentially grown your capabilities. One more year, who can replace you at that point? There's nobody that can come out of college that's going to be able to do what you do. So it's in Cineo's best interest, to keep you. And this story, regardless of your role in research, is kind of the theme for the next decade. And we're seeing CROs very short staffed and they're all competing for talent. So I like what I'm hearing with the mentality even from the CRO that small is the new big. And even if we're big, we have to act like we're small. So I like this. I'm hearing this for the first time from you. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, yeah, you are welcome. I mean, I'm happy to be in the place I am and in the industry I am, because there are plenty of different roles, plenty of opportunities for everyone to find what suits them best. But I agree with you, and I'm hearing multiple times in different places about this shortage of people in the industry. So
It's unreal, and it's shortage of everything. Research sites, I'm primarily on the site side. I have tomorrow site initiation visit for one of my brand new site here in Arizona. But we don't have coordinator other than me, right? And now my goal is as I grow, I have to train people so that I'm not doing all the work. I can't do that and do podcasts and everything else at the same time. So the only way I can grow is bringing new people, training them, keeping them. That's not so easy to do, guys. This is a full-time job, just this, right?
I mean,
Uh,
of course.
yeah, I was gonna ask you, Stefan. Maybe somebody's watching right now. Maybe they're in, I don't know, anywhere in the world, and they say, "Well, I'd like to do what Stefan's doing." What requirements was it to get your job? Was the master's in pharmacy necessary?
No, I believe the pharmacy wasn't necessary. I'm speaking from the memory, but for this very position, I think it might have been master in life science or maybe business administration, something like that. But don't take me for granted. As for seniors, the specification is always in the position advertisement, so it will be clarified. They told that it's nice if you have experience, but if you don't, obviously it can work that way as well. For this particular role, it's not always like that. Um, as for other things, it's important that you have at least basics about the industry. So I learned it a little bit during my university, but then you have your amazing CRA academy. I believe there are different ways to learn and to get some information, because if you are to start working, you obviously you can't know everything, but you need to have some idea what a CRO is, what is a trial, what is a CRA and stuff.
Yeah, it
And
would be
what
helpful
I
to
find,
know.
yeah, what I find interesting is at this point, at least in Serbia, there is no university for clinical trials. So this industry is open for multiple profiles, and yeah, that's I think it's well, many industries are not like that. You can't work in a pharmacy if you didn't go to pharmacy school, for example.
Right. Even in the United States, there's only a few schools that have a master's of clinical research as a program. And y- honestly, guys, I have a 5 hour video. It's for free. I have a book that's very low priced if you buy the Kindle version, and relatively low price even just for the physical book compared to the other books out there. So you got to learn the basics. Like nobody, I think that's one of the things you demonstrated, and probably one of the prerequisites for your role is self-starter. You know, in your role as inside sales, I mean, you're not sitting around waiting for people to tell you, "Hey, Stefan, go contact this person." You're expected to do that on your own.
Of course, you need to have your organization, and there is not like you're going to school and there is lesson from 1 a.m. to 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. You organize your work days, you plan your outreach, you plan lots of your own activities. So you need to be independent in that way. But I believe that's something that many people today learn in the university, because when you need to learn for the exam, nobody will tell you don't go out, stay home and learn, or something like that. So your 5 hour video is a great intro to this industry. Actually, my brother is studying economics right now, but he got interested in clinical trials. So I passed him the video. He saw it. He liked it a lot. So who knows? Maybe one day he will become part of the industry as well. And
Shout out
my
little brother. What's his name?
his name is Victor.
Victor. That's my little brother's name. Shout out to
Yeah,
Victor.
that's great. That's great. And also, I was referred to your channel by a friend who worked briefly in clinical trials. She also saw the 5 hour interview prior to her 5 hour video prior to her interviews. So shout out to Jelena as well. She's now pharmacy head in Bosnia, and she's doing really well. She's as of
Wow.
now she's satisfied in this position.
Wow. Yellen, you said?
Jelena, yeah, she is.
Yelena. Shout out to Yelena. Thank you so much. The Guru Nation. This is how we grow, right? Um, the the interview process. I guess we can end with this. The interview process. How did it work? You first of all, how many places did you apply and did you get rejected, or was Syneos number one and that's it?
In clinical trials, this is the only one I applied for. I was rejected for maybe 2 or 3 med positions. For some, the interview process ended before the decision could have been made. Seniors was the only CRO I applied, and the process was really seamless, really pleasant. The best of
Mm.
all interview processes I had, and I had maybe 4 of them. This one was without any competition. Yeah, really top interviewer experience.
Man, and it worked out all works out well in the end because I work with a lot of sales rep here in my s- at my clinic. It's inside a doctor's office, a big doctor office. So there's a lot of sales rep come in, a lot of them, guys. There's a lot of sales. Whenever there's a lot of what you do, it makes your job harder. There's a lot of sales reps, medical sales rep, and they don't know anything about research. There's very few inside salespeople for CROs. And there's a lot of money in this space, guys. So just, I'm glad it worked out well for you because imagine if you would have got the sales rep job, you wouldn't have done research maybe right away at least.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, that was my thinking how it might go. Okay, I would do as a med rep for some years, and then I would try to move to CROs, because that's what I see that happens a lot, at least in my country.
Mhm.
People are trying to move towards this industry. People move from pharmacies to med reps to CROs. Not all of them. Many people love different roles, but there's a tendency that can be noticed over
I
here.
like that. I like that. We'll definitely do follow-ups, part two, and just to see how your career is going. And would love to I would love to see you on the clubhouse when I'm on. I don't talk, I just listen, but I learn a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of biotech people on there, venture capitalists, investors, executives, CEOs. I mean, all these people are accessible. I was amazed how accessible these people are. When I went to their Twitter, they have less follower than I do. Like these people, you can just approach them. CEO of like billion-dollar company, uh, one click, 2 clicks away from you, right? So, and plus, if you
But
listen,
then they don't have a 20,000 people YouTube channel. Don't underestimate yourself. You are a clinical trial celebrity after all.
thank you, thank you. I mean, yeah, there's nothing. We gotta grow more. But these execs, very accessible. You know, a lot of people. The reason I brought that up is a lot of people think, well, I could never connect with them, guys. You can. It's like 2 buttons, 2 clicks, and you're there. You get their Twitter, you get their LinkedIn, you get their Clubhouse. I think Clubhouse is dead for most things, but on Sundays and I believe on Thursdays, there's a biotech, very heavy biotech space. So get involved on Clubhouse. I'm gonna send you the link, Stefan, to that Clubhouse that I was on. And as we wrap up, maybe you can give for Serbia. We have other Serbia Guru Nation. Give them like a 2 sentence, 3 sentence goodbye in Serbian. My dad would love to hear this, too.
Yeah, first I will tell you thank you very much for the club night, if that's how it's called, invitation.
Clubhouse, yeah.
Clubhouse, yeah, I will definitely be a great way to wrap up my week with a cup of tea on Sunday evening. As for the Serbian people, ako ste odgledali, hvala vam puno na pažnji. Ako vas bilo šta zanima, pišite na LinkedIn slobodno, pošaljite poruku, ako treba bilo kakav savjet, tu sam, zacrtajte sebi ono što želite, ako je to CRO, samo napred, samo hrabro ističe se tamo.
Love it. All right, guys. Thank you so much, Stefan. I really appreciate it. And thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. Everybody go connect with Stefan underneath the video. And if you're listening on the podcast, thank you so much. LinkedIn in the show notes for Stefan. Get at him. Let's meet up on Sundays on Clubhouse in the Biotech room. Don't ask me, guys, for the invite. I'm going to give Stefan, it's just the link I was yesterday. It's not my room. I don't host it. I don't talk. I don't even raise my hand. I'm in there. Listen, take notes, just like you, Guru Nation. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.